SW Kids TV starts right now. Buckle up. Hey guys, so excited that you are here to join us again for SW Kids TV. We are going to have a good old time today, and we've got some special features, things we haven't even done before on our show. And aren't you glad you're watching SW Kids TV today? I'm glad. I am surely glad. So, a few things just to start. We are, of course, meeting in person. If you guys can make it out on Sunday morning, we would love to see you with your family, 9 and 10:30. And we would love to just have you guys come. Kids are meeting inside for live church. And if you're watching this live church on Sunday, good for you. If you're still at home, you got to bug mom and dad to drive you to church, okay? You guys do that. Second thing we have is Awana is started back up for March. We got 3 more weeks that we're running Awana in March on Monday nights, 6:30 to 8. Super fun, games, Bible studies, just being with friends, actually doing something outside the house. Super fun, you guys, so please come out. You don't have to sign up ahead of time. You can just come, but if you want to sign up, that would be great. It'd be really helpful for us, but you can always bring a friend. It's going to be pretty awesome. And this week, the theme is silly socks. So bring yourself some silly socks, wear those, and we will make sure that everybody gets a little prize if you wear your silly socks, okay? All right, next thing is Flat Jerry. Flat Jerry, he is on the prowl again. We have a great spot for him this time. In fact, I got a few photos of where Jerry was this last week. He is at a place called Milk and Sugar. Milk and Sugar. So if you didn't find him, make sure that you guys go find it. It's over by Home Depot. So mom and dad, you guys can go find him. It's over kind of in that big parking lot center area. It's called Milk and Sugar. It's kind of a new place, but great ice cream. Make sure you kiddos, you guys get over there. The rich girls got over there. Ian Chang got over there. So lots of fun, you guys. We've had a few other kids tell me that they went. So if you do go, make sure your mom and dad takes a picture and text it to me, and we'll make sure you guys get on the show to be able to show yourselves. But Milk and Sugar, and we will be having another place real soon, our next place where you can find Flat Jerry in town. But remember, you can also go back to Menchie's, World Coffee, Donuts and Yogurt, and now Milk and Sugar, because we still have some credits there for free ice cream and goodies, okay? All right, a few weeks ago, you guys, we did some questions and answers with Jerry, and I had a few of you guys write down some questions, things that you might ask Mr. Jerry about his life and who he is and stuff. And so we went ahead and asked him this week. And so, Jerry, I'm just going to go ahead and put you on the spot, buddy. By the way, kids, we have Jerry's other twins. So we have the twin sisters. So here they are. We have Blanca, and we're still waiting on a name, though. Jerry hasn't told me the name of the other one. So maybe Jerry's open to suggestions if you guys have a name for his other twin, and we can maybe name that child. So you guys let me know if you think you have a fun name. But, Jerry, we've got some questions for you, buddy, straight from the kids. So let me go ahead and just ask, and then we'll just... Hey, I have no idea what Jerry's going to say. We'll just see, but I know that you guys, you see him every week. You see him around town, Flat Jerry. And so it's a good chance for you guys to get to know him a little bit. So Taylor was asking Jerry, she's asking, how old are you?
Well, that's a great question there, Taylor. My mama once told me that one day I'd be a grown-up with 2 kids, and guess what? I have 2 kids. I think that kind of puts me right around 30 years old.
All right, that sounds good. All right, well, Grady wanted to know what your favorite costume is, because you know that I like to dress you up in different costumes. So what would you say your favorite costume was?
Grady, that's a great question. You know, Pastor Chris always tries to put me inside of an A's outfit, but you know something? I think I'd rather have a Padres outfit, but I think one of my favorite ones is probably my Pharaoh costume that Pastor Chris put me in.
All right. Well, we've also got another question. Favorite food and drink from Leighton and Addison. They wanted to know what you like to eat and drink there, Jerry.
Boy, food and drink. Boy, that's a great question, Leighton and Addison. I'll tell you what, one of my favorite foods is pizza. Meat lovers pizza. And you know something? One of my favorite drinks is a cherry Dr. Pepper. I hope you get one day there, Leighton and Addison.
Ah, okay. Well, Michael was wondering what your favorite dinosaur is. I don't know how much you know about dinosaurs, Jerry, but what do you think? What do you say? What do you say? What's your best dinosaur?
Ooh, Michael, my favorite dinosaur? Man, that's a great question. I'm not really familiar with all my dinosaur names, but you know, I think my favorite would be a Pizzasaurus.
And then, okay, well, that's good. Ty was wondering why you sit so still. I don't know, you're kind of a weirdo, Jerry, in some ways, but why do you sit so still?
Ooh, Ty, I know you must be wondering why I'm so still. Well, here's the real answer. My mama told me once I needed to sit and just be still in the corner, and guess what? I haven't moved since.
Okay. All right. Well, Ella and Jonathan both asked what your favorite game or video game is. So I'm kind of curious about this one. So what's your favorite video game?
Ella and Jonathan, man, I tell you what, my favorite video game happened all the way back into the 90s. There used to be this game called Tecmo Bowl Football. And guess what? I would play it all day and all night. But you know something? If I had to pick my favorite modern game, I don't know, because I'm not so modern. I guess I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Well, hey, how nice is that, you guys? Thank you, Jerry, for taking the time to answer those really penetrating questions from you guys. So that's some good reporting right there on the scene with Jerry. So hopefully you guys feel like you've gotten to know him a little better. So, all right, we're going to jump right into Word to Your Father.
It's now time for Word to Your Father.
All right, guys. So Word to Your Father for this month is the word forgiveness. Say it with me, forgiveness. Oh, that wasn't very loud. I know that wasn't very loud. I just know because I kind of caught you by surprise a little bit. So let's try it again. Forgiveness on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Forgiveness. Very good. Very good. So let's read our definition. It's up on the screen. It's on your screen right there. Let's read it together. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Forgiveness. Deciding that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay. All right. I really like that, you guys. So last week, we were kicking off this idea of forgiving somebody, making sure that they don't have to pay. And this is kind of one of the things that we were saying. We said that if somebody does something wrong to you, sometimes we want there to be payback, right? So if somebody does something wrong to you, you might want them to pay you back with something good, so that they'll pay you back with something good to offset, to make it right, the bad thing they did for you. Or you might want to pay them back by doing something bad. So either way, we always feel like there's got to be some payback when somebody does something bad to us. They give us good or we give them bad, okay, just to even things out. We always feel like stuff's got to be fair or it's got to be even. And one of the things that we've been saying, you guys, is that we don't want fair. We don't want things to be even, okay, because here's why. All of us have sinned against God. All of us have disobeyed God in some way. And if God wanted to get even with us, we could never do enough good things to get back to him, for him, right? To pay him back. For all our sin, no way. You could never do that many good things. Or we certainly don't want him to give us bad back for what our sins deserve, because what does the Bible say? For the wages, the payment, wage is a payment, right? For the wages of sin is death. So we don't want God to pay us back for the bad things that we've done, because then we would have death. We'd be separated from God for all time. But there's no way for us to do enough good things to pay him back. So what do we do? Well, aren't you glad that God says, I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to make it so that even though you've wronged me with your sin, you don't have to pay me back. Man, you guys, that's awesome. You know what? There's two words that goes along with. Grace and mercy. All right, say it with me. Grace and mercy. And here's why. You see, grace is when God gives us something that we don't deserve. Forgiveness is God's grace. He gives us forgiveness for something that we don't deserve. And mercy means that God is not going to give us what we do deserve. So he holds back from giving us the thing that we do deserve. Because you guys know, when you get in trouble with your parents and stuff, you're going to get in trouble, right? And you deserve it. So that's your parents giving you what you deserve. And so God would punish us with death for that's what we deserve for our sin. But he says, in my mercy, I'm not going to give you what you deserve. In fact, I'm going to turn around and give you grace. I'm going to give you even something that you, even more so, and give you something that you don't deserve, which is forgiveness, which is a relationship with God, which is letting him be your father. You get to be in his family. We get to be with him forever and ever in heaven. Guys, what an awesome deal that is. Am I right? Okay. So I want you guys to understand the different, how cool it is to have mercy and grace. And we talked about grace last week, but those two go together when we talk about forgiveness. So last week, if you remember, did I get that right? Oh, here's our verse, okay? So let's read our verse together. I'm going to put it on the screen for you. You can try to read it. Start on this left-hand side here. And so we're going to try to read it. You guys read it along with me loud and proud, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Colossians 3:13. All right, guys. So remember what we said last week. You start with the second half of the verse. God forgave us first. And because he's forgiven us, now I can turn around and I can forgive other people. That's only right. You know, why would, if I'm going to ask God to forgive me, but I don't want to forgive somebody else, that's not fair. That's not right. So God says, no. If you want to be like me, which we do, we want to be like God, he says, you need to forgive other people in the same way that I forgave you. And that makes sense. That's fair, I think. That's a nice request that God has for us. So last week, remember we said, everyone needs to be forgiven, even me. Even me. So remember we said, especially me. And so last week what we talked about was the first half of the story. Okay? So let me check in with our story. All right, so we're back. Now we're going to rewind a little bit and we're going to talk about this story, the first half of the story. Remember, there was Sad Dad. And Sad Dad had 2 sons. Remember? And last week we talked about Bad Bro. And what happened with Bad Bro is he said to his dad, Dad, I kind of wish you were dead so I could have your money. Well, that's bad. That's what made Dad so sad. So Bad Bro took all Dad's money. Dad actually gave it to him. And he went and he wasted it on dumb stuff. Really dumb stuff. Okay? And he just blew all this money that his dad had worked so hard all these years for. And then he was feeding pigs and he didn't know what to do. And so he realized, I just got to go back to my dad and ask my dad to forgive me. And so he did. And his dad, instead of being mad at him, he was so glad. In fact, we're going to change this now. I'm going to X out the S and I'm going to write a G and an L, which that would spell glad. Okay, so glad Dad. Now I'm glad Dad because he's come back. My Bad Bro has come back. And he wants to be a part of the family again. And he's asked for forgiveness. And he said that he's sorry. And he realized what he did was a sin. And so that's what we talked about last week. In fact, let's look at this slide right here because I want you to see what's going on here. The father in the story is like God. Okay? So think about yourself and your sin being like this by Bad Bro. And this is the way God reacts to you. It's amazing. Okay, check it out. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. So he was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. So that's why he's glad Dad now. He's so excited that his son has come back. Instead he's sorry, he's back to be a part of the family. All right, so that was all last week. Now, we're going to jump ahead to this week because this week, here's the main idea. You can read it on the screen. You can read it on that screen too. Here's what it says. When you don't forgive, you miss out. You miss out. Okay, that's interesting because there's a thing out there, maybe you guys have heard it. It's called FOMO. Has anybody heard of FOMO? Okay, it stands for something. The F is for fear. The O is for of. The M is for missing. And the O is for out. Fear of missing out. So FOMO means I'm always afraid that I'm going to be missing something. So like if you're at home and you're doing school and you got to do your homework or something before you go outside to play, but then you can hear all the kids in the neighborhood outside playing, you have FOMO because you're like, oh, I'm afraid I'm missing out on something fun going on in the court or in the street or whatever, and I don't get to be there. That's fear of missing out, right? Or if there's other things that are happening and you want to be there. You want to be there. So there's a lot of us that have FOMO. And so because of that, it's hard to, say no to things. So when you forgive, you miss out. The idea is if you choose not to forgive somebody else, even though God has forgiven you, you're going to miss out. you're going to miss out on a lot of really good things. And that's kind of what our story is about. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the video that we showed last week, the God story video of this, and I'm going to show you the second half of it. This time I want you to really focus on the second half, and you're going to be looking at the older brother, who this week is going to be played by Jerry. It's Mad Bro. Mad Bro, okay? So we switched, and now Blanca is Bad Bro. She's wearing that hat. Jerry is going to be wearing Mad Bro. So let's watch the video, and I'll come back and explain.
Meanwhile, the older brother was out in the fields, working. Kids, remember, this brother had been home the whole time, obeying his dad, while his younger brother ran away. So when the older brother found out his dad was throwing a party for his younger brother, he was mad. Really mad. He had never gotten a party. He thought his little brother deserved punishment, not a welcome home celebration. Jesus told this story because sometimes we act like the prodigal son. We do things that make God sad, like how the son took his dad's money and ran away. Other times, we act like the older son. We follow God's rules, but forget how special it is to obey him. Maybe we even want people who disobey to get punished, instead of being excited when they decide to follow God. But Jesus wants us to know that no matter what we do, he loves us. Just like that father. And that's the story of the prodigal son. So, in case you missed it, here's the quick version. There were two brothers. One loved buying stuff. He asked his dad for money. He ran away. He spent the money. He felt sorry. He went back home. His dad threw him a party. The older brother got mad. The dad loved both sons. And no matter what, God loves us too. And that's a part of God's story.
All right. Now, here's a question for you as we kind of go back a little bit and think about what was happening. Do you think that Bad Bro, when he came back, was scared of coming back? Yeah. Do you think he was going to come back? Did he think he was going to come back to a mad dad? Not just a sad or glad dad? Yeah, he probably thought it was going to be a mad dad. And his dad would yell at him and that kind of thing. So here's the thing. Now that you've seen it, you've seen a little bit about how Mad Bro, the older brother, reacts. Do you think that Mad Bro could have turned into a glad bro when he saw his brother? He could have. Do you think he should have? Yeah, I do. I wish he had. I understand maybe why he was upset. We're going to talk about that. So he was upset, and maybe he had good reason. Okay? And we're going to talk about that in a second. But he chose to be mad when it would have been way better had he been glad. So we've got a little video here of Miss Sherry. She's going to kind of tell the story here and act it out a little bit. And so enjoy Miss Sherry. She's always so much fun. So take it away, Miss Sherry, and then we'll come back.
Hey kiddos, it's Miss Sherry here with your Bible lesson for the day. If you were here last week, you will remember that you learned about a story called the Parable of the Lost Son. Now, last week, we found out that Dan, the younger son, was getting sick and tired of working on that farm. And so he asked his father for his inheritance early, and that was a big no-no back in the day. In fact, that would be a big no-no for you to do today. So he took off and went to another country with all that money that his father gave him and wasted it. He wasted all of the money, didn't even have a penny of it left. And so he found himself in a foreign country, broke, and in order for him to eat, he had to go work with the pigs. In fact, he ended up eating the pigs' leftover slops. So his situation was pretty bad. We stopped the story at the point at which Dan had to make an important decision. Was he going to go back to his father and beg him for forgiveness and offer to work for his father on the farm, not as a son, but as a servant? And so today we're going to hear the rest of the story. This week's cast of characters will include the dad, Dan, the lost son, and his older brother, who never gets a name. You make up a name for him, but the older brother. So we pick up our story as Dan has made his important decision. He is going to return back to his father. After a long, tiring, hot journey, he finally makes it back. And he brings with him a very well-rehearsed apology. He was thinking, or at least we can assume he must have been thinking, his father is going to be furious at him. As he approaches the house, he must have been having second thoughts. Oh man, I really blew it. There's my house. Well, I guess Dad's house. Okay, I'm gonna apologize. It'll be okay. Oh, who's that running toward me? Dad? Dad, is that you? Son, it's really you. You've come back. I can't believe it. Yeah, Dad, it's me. Wait, you're not mad at me? So as we can see, Dan was all ready with his apology. But before he could even finish the words, "I'm sorry," his father yells to the servants, "Hey, kill the fatted calf. My son has returned. I'm gonna barbecue. We will definitely be having a party." In fact, if we read in the Bible, in Luke chapter 15, verses 22 to 24, the father says, "But the father said to his servants, 'Bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he is found.'" So they totally began to celebrate. Dan, you totally can't wear that to the party. You need to be in the finest clothes. You're my son. Here is this robe. Put it on. Also, don't forget the bling. Servants, kill the fatted calf. Not that skinny one out there. I want the big fat calf. We shall barbecue tonight. Woohoo! I can't believe my long-lost son is home. This is unbelievable. Seriously, Dad, what's going on here? I talked to the servant. He said we're having a big party for Dan. Yeah, come on, son, join us. Your brother has returned. It's gonna be a great party. We gotta celebrate. Okay, Dad. Now, respectfully, it sounds like an awesome party. Totally, your parties always are. And I hear you're going to be barbecuing too, but there ain't no way I'm going to be taking part in this foolishness. Oh man, son, lighten up. Why shouldn't we celebrate? Your brother is back. It's totally time for you to cut loose. Look, Dad, for years, I have done nothing but work hard for you on this farm. I've never disobeyed, and you have never even given me even as much as a pizza party with my friends. Heck, I don't even have a name in this story. And yet, when my little brother comes back after traipsing around the world wasting his money, you throw a gigantic party for him. So please explain to me, how does that even make a little bit of sense? Didn't you know, son? Everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate. Your brother is back. He was dead and now he's alive. He was lost and now he was found. Come on, let's celebrate that. Now, honestly, the older son had a lot of reasons to be upset. The younger son, his brother Dan, had made huge mistakes. He had, number one, asked his father for his inheritance early. Totally disrespectful. Number 2, bolted away from all the work at the farm and left for another country. Number 3, squandered, wasted all of his inheritance on stupid things and then came crawling back asking for forgiveness. The older son expected that his father would be super angry. He also expected his father to tell his younger brother, you need to get out of here. And when you think about it, that's exactly what the younger son deserved. Dan did not deserve any of his father's forgiveness. But that's not what happened. He did get his father's forgiveness. So, the older son had a problem. If he went into the party, it would be like he was saying everything little Danny boy did was okay. And, more importantly, he'd have to forgive his younger brother. But if he didn't go into the party, he could have an excuse to be grumpy, to sulk around and be mad at his younger brother for a long time. The problem is, when we do not forgive, we miss out. And that's something for you to remember. When you don't forgive, you miss out. And in this case, in this story, the older son, by holding on to his bitterness, was not just missing out on going to a party and celebrating. He was actually missing out on having a loving family relationship. He was missing out on having a joyful heart. In fact, God calls us to show forgiveness to each other. In Colossians chapter 3, verse 13, God tells us, forgive the things you are holding against one another. Forgive just as the Lord forgave you.
All right, guys, so let's get into the story a little bit more. Let's just talk a little bit about what you just learned from Miss Sherry. We've got the older brother, Mad Bro here, right? And he comes in from working all day long. That's why we got the little like farmer work hat for him, because he's been working all day long. He's been for years working all day long for his dad, doing anything his dad asked him to do. He was actually a really, really good son. So he was super like obedient to his dad, didn't talk back, didn't ask his dad for much, whereas Bad Bro, remember, kind of probably was whiny, talking back to his dad, asked his dad for all the money. So actually, Mad Bro is probably the ideal son. Everything was really, really good for him, obedient. And so if you remember last week, we talked about this idea that Mad Bro was probably like the Pharisees. So basically, remember we talked about, we said God is way up here. And then we said all the really bad people are down here. This is where Bad Bro would be. And we said then there were Pharisees, these were like religious people and stuff like that, that they thought that they were like right here, way far away from all the bad people, a lot more close to God and where God was as far as being good. Then we said, that's not right. You can't say that because God is so far above us that there's nobody that's this close to God. So what we said is the Pharisees were actually, because they thought bad things and said bad things and did bad things too, that if God's here, the bad, really bad people are right here, the Pharisees are equally down here too. That's why we said that everybody needs forgiveness, even me. Because all of us, you guys, are way down here. So even if you're very disobedient like Bad Bro, you're still down here. Or even if you're very obedient and you're just a good kid, like Mad Bro, you're still down here. Why? Because our sin, all our thoughts, words, actions still keeps us very, very separated from God. And remember what Jesus said. It's not the sick people who need, or it's not the healthy people who need a doctor, it's the sick people. See, Bad Bro knew he was sick, so he would go to Jesus for a savior. But Mad Bro, he thought he was up here, real close to guys. I don't need a savior, I can take care of it myself. I'm good enough. Like, I'm good enough to get to heaven on my own. I don't need God. You know, or I'm super close to God. God is going to let me in because, remember the payback thing. I've done enough good things to pay back God. You see, what happened is, Bad Bro was worried that God was going to pay him back, bad for bad. Mad Bro thought, well, if I just give God enough good things, then I'll pay him back. But that's not the way it goes. You don't just pay God back by doing good things. I know that that feels weird, but it's true. Because no matter how many good things you guys could ever do, you could never pay God back enough for all the sin that you've done. So, God's way up here, Mad Bro and Bad Bro are both down here. That's the idea. But Mad Bro comes back from working hard in the fields and he tells his dad, hey dad, you know, wait a minute. Why are you throwing this big party for Bad Bro? He did all these bad things. Why are you doing that? And so he was really mad about it. So let's look at this a little bit right here, you guys. This is like a little summary of the story that you guys can see. You can see on here that this is more about Bad Bro, okay, where he goes away, he asks his dad, he lives an easy life, and then he, you know, remembers, oh, there's my dad, even though he works in the pig slop, wastes all the money, and then he comes back to his dad and he's all broken up and stuff. But here, you guys, is the idea of the older son. This is what Miss Sherry was just reading. Let's read it together, though, right here, so that you can at least see the words right in front of you. Listen to what it says. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. That's Mad Bro. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. Your brother has come, he replied, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. Now, you guys, if there was a party at your house and they had the best food there, like whatever your favorite food is, wouldn't you want to go? Wouldn't you want to be there? Yes, of course, especially if it's at your house with your family and your friends and all the people that you love, of course you want to be there. But if you were separated from your brother or sister for years and they finally came back and they were finally home, wouldn't you want to talk to them, and wouldn't you want to be with them, and wouldn't you want to party with them and eat the tacos from the taco truck with them? Of course you would, unless you were just mad. Unless you were just bitter and angry and you weren't really loving in your own heart. You see, as much as Mad Bro should have still loved Bad Bro, he didn't. He was mad and jealous of him and angry, and he did not love him. So let's take a look at the next part of the verse here. And this is what Miss Sherry is talking about. Let's just read it in front of us. The older brother became angry and refused to go in, so his father went out and pleaded with him. Did the father, you guys, love the older brother? Did he love Mad Bro? Did Glad Dad love Bad Bro or Mad Bro? Of course he did. He loved him greatly. So he's pleading with him, son. He says, but he answered his father, look, that's what you say when you're mad. Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never even gave me a young goat that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, Bad Bro, who has squandered your property comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him. He just can't believe it that he killed the fattened calf for him and gave him everything he wanted. And what does the father say? He says, son, your brother was dead and has come back. We had to celebrate. He says, everything I have is yours. Everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate because your brother is home. So guys, I just love that. He's Mad Bro because he's always tried to do everything right. He didn't feel appreciated by his dad. But do you think that Glad Dad appreciated Mad Bro? Of course so, because he was so faithful and good. So of course he loved him. And who was going to get the rest of the... Oops. Okay, I won't lean on it. Who was going to get the rest of the inheritance once Glad Dad died? Who was going to get it? Mad Bro was. He's already spent his, right? And so he's going to get the rest of the money. And so I don't know why he's so upset. Mad Bro was afraid maybe he was going to lose his money. Maybe now he's going to have to split his money with Bad Bro. But the dad said, everything I have is yours. Like, your brother already spent his money. You still get everything. But we had to welcome your brother back to the family. And like I said, I understand why he was mad. And it's really not fair. If you're looking for fair, it's really not fair that Bad Bro was accepted back. You see, Mad Bro wanted Bad Bro to pay. He was so angry that he wanted him to pay. He wanted him either to pay all that money back, or he wanted to give good back, or to repay him back bad for bad. That's what he wanted. He was not willing to forgive. He wanted his brother to pay. And so that's why we say, you guys, that if you stay angry, then you miss out. You miss out. That's the FOMO idea. You actually miss out. So look at this. I got this great this is a statue. I'm not even sure where it is. It's just a statue of the story. You can see the dad. He looks like kind of the old man from the movie Up. But there he is. There's Bad Bro on his knees begging his dad for forgiveness. And you can see then Mad Bro with his arms crossed, angry that his dad has taken his brother back. I just love that picture. But you guys, it's just a story of the father's love for both of his boys. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. But first, I got some jokes of the day.
It's the joke of the day.
All right, guys. We got some fun little sibling jokes. Okay, if you know the sibling. A sibling is a brother or a sister. It's just a fancy word for brother or sister. So I have a few little sibling jokes. To be honest, I'm not as pleased with these sibling jokes, but we'll give it a shot. We'll see if you guys think these are funny. So, did anybody hear about the picnic that the boy was having for his sister's dolls? He called it a barbecue. Barbecue. Okay. What do you say to your sister when she's upset? You could ask her, "Are you having a crisis?" A crisis, sister? A crisis? Okay. Anyway, how about this one? There were 3 kids, and they all went to their mother, and they were all standing there with their mother, and the older one says, "Mommy, why is my name Leaf?" And Mommy said, "Well, sweetheart, when you were a baby, when you were a newborn, we were outside, and a beautiful leaf fell off a tree, and it landed on you. And so we called you Leaf." And then the middle child, she said, "Mommy, why do you call me Feather?" And said, "Well, sweetheart, same reason, because when you were a baby, a little feather fell down out of the sky and it landed on you, and so we called you Feather." And the last one was just a little baby and started crying, and the mom turns to the little baby and says, "What is it, bird poop?" Okay. All right, I hope you guys like that one. Yeah. Did you hear about the one where there's the parents and the brother and the sister, and they all had diarrhea? Yeah. They realized it runs in the family. Okay, I like that one. I like the potty humor. That one's a good one. Okay, that's all I got. Those are your jokes for the day. So now, you guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of a FOMO game. FOMO, fear of missing out. But it's really kind of like a would you rather, of seeing which one would you rather have, okay? All right, why don't you guys tell me which one you would rather have? So it'll be either one or two. Which of these 2 things that you would rather have? I'm going to tell you what my answer is, but I really want you guys to look around with your family, friends at church, whatever, and you guys decide which one you would be most afraid of missing out on. Okay, so what about the first one? Ice cream or pizza? Ice cream or pizza? So if you knew that there was ice cream or pizza around, which one would you want? What would you have a bigger fear of missing out on, okay? Ice cream or pizza, okay? You guys at home, hold your fingers up. Let me know which one. Okay, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. All right, I love ice cream, but I just love pizza even more. That one's for me. Okay, how about this one? Which one, fear of missing out? Like if you had to miss a meal, which one? Would it be lunch or dinner? Lunch or dinner? Which one are you most afraid of missing out on, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, yeah. Dinner for me, because sometimes if I miss lunch, it's all right. I get busy during the day, but gotta have some good dinner. Gotta have some good dinner. Okay, what about this? What about movie or video games? Which one, if you had some time and you were afraid that you were missing out, or your friends were getting together to go do something and you couldn't go, but you were like, "Oh, I want to go." Which one would hurt the most? Movie or video games? Like going to the movie, not just watching a movie on somebody's couch like it's been for the last year. I'm talking about going to the movies or playing video games. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, movies, right? Don't you guys miss just going to the movies? Oh, man. Okay, soon enough, you guys. What about this one? What about playing sports or reading? Because maybe sometimes you don't get enough chance. Some of you guys I know really like to read. Playing sports or reading. Ready? You guys put your fingers up. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yep, it's sports. I do love to read. I don't get enough time to read, and I do love it. But yeah, for sure, sports. Okay, What about this one? If your family was getting a pet, or you wanted a pet and you weren't getting a pet, which one would you have the most fear of missing out on, a dog or a cat? Okay, dog, cat. Okay, put your fingers up. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yep. You guys knew I would say number 1. I love cats too. We had an old fat cat. He was 22 pounds and his name was Benny. And I loved that cat. Oh man, I miss that cat. He's dead now, but I've still got my Molly now. So love me some Molly. That's the dog for me. All right, next one. Fear of missing out, like not being able to go on a trip, missing out on a trip to Disneyland or Hawaii. I think I know what most of you guys are going to say. Put your fingers up, whichever one. I think I know what most of you guys are going to say, but I'm going to say Hawaii for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of done with Disneyland. Anyway, been there too many times. Okay, next. Beach or mountains? Beach or mountains? Which one would you fear the most missing out on? Okay? All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right. This one's tough for me. Like, I love the mountains, like Jeunesse Park and going up the mountains. I love that, Lake Tahoe, but I really love the beach. I really love the beach. So I bet you some of you guys said that one. All right, next one. Donuts or cake? Or like a cupcake or something like that, okay? Donuts or cake. And if everybody was having it, but you couldn't have it, and you had this fear of missing out, like, oh no, I can't have donuts or cake. Okay, so you guys put your fingers up, show me what you got. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, donuts. Ooh, especially that apple fritter, right? At donuts and yogurt, which is still there. Go get a donut. All right, last one. What about soda or milkshake? All right, this one might be tough for some of you because I know some of you guys, your parents don't let you drink soda. So maybe when you do get a chance to have soda, you really love soda. Some of you guys are like, a milkshake, that's yummy. Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, definitely a milkshake for me because I get to have soda. I'm an adult. I get to kind of drink soda whenever I want to. So anyway, oops. Glad Dad. All set. Okay, you guys, so here's the deal. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you just Okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to show you another video that's about this story about Glad Dad and Mad Bro and Bad Bro and how Sad Dad turned into Glad Dad. And it's a great little one, but it tells a little bit more of the story of how, when Jesus told this story, how it fits into everything that Jesus was doing and everything that Jesus was saying. And so right after that, we'll come right back.
Yeah, this section reads like the Battle of the Banquets. So Jesus throws these dinner parties as a symbol of how God's kingdom is here for the sick and the poor, people who could never pay him back.
Jesus also attends banquets with Israel's religious leaders.
Yeah, and he lays into them for becoming an arrogant, exclusive social club.
But they don't get it, and so he tells them a famous parable that goes like this.
There was a father who had 2 sons.
The older son is trustworthy and honors his father.
And the younger son, he's a mess. He rebels and cashes in his inheritance to travel far away and blow it all on partying and being stupid.
And then there's a famine in the land, and he runs out of money, so he has to scrape by taking care of somebody's pigs. And he's so hungry he wants to eat the pig slop, at which point it occurs to him, if I'm gonna be a farmhand, I might as well go home and work for my dad. At least I won't be eating pig food. So he treks back home, rehearsing his apology.
Now, the father is certain that his son did not survive the famine. But then, one day, he sees someone walking down the road. It's his son. He's not dead. And so the father runs to him and embraces his son, kissing him all over.
The son starts his speech. Dad, I don't deserve to be your son. Maybe I could come and work for you.
But before he can finish, the father calls his servants to go get the nicest robe, new sandals, a fancy ring for his son. They are to prepare the best food for a banquet. It is time to celebrate.
Now later that day, the older brother arrives from a long day working in the field to discover his long-lost loser brother has come home, and they're celebrating?
And he gets angry. And think about it. He's been faithful to his father all of these years. He never got a party like this. And then this disgrace of a family member comes comes home and they're going to celebrate him? It's disgusting. He refuses to join the banquet.
So the father finds the older brother outside, and he says,
Son, you are already in our family. Everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate your brother because he was lost. And now he's found. He was dead, but now he's alive.
Jesus wants the religious leaders to see the outsiders the way God sees them, as sons and daughters that are being reclaimed from death.
Jesus' kingdom community was wide open to anybody. The only entry requirement is to humble yourself and recognize your need for God's mercy.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That's a lot of fun. I love those little videos. So we're going to do Take It Home.
It's time to take it home.
All right, take it home for you guys today is this big idea, right? That when you don't forgive, you miss out. You guys, we talked about this last week, and I really do think this is important for you guys to understand what Jesus is saying in this story. You see, the dad, whether he's sad at our sin or glad when we repent and come back, the story is really about the dad. It's not even so much about the kids. I think that Jesus was telling this story so that we could all understand what the dad is like. That the dad is so giving and generous, that he's gracious. He gives us what we don't deserve. He's merciful. He doesn't give us what we do deserve. That he's so good that he does things that nobody would ever think that a father would do. Remember I told you he hiked up his robe and ran. He ran up to his stinky, smelly son and kissed him all over and hugged him and got his clothes all dirty. He welcomed the son back. He gave him the robe and the ring and the new sandals, which, why would he do that? And then, even then, when Mad Bro was mad and upset and didn't want to come in, he didn't just say, well then, if you're going to pout and whine and throw a temper tantrum, then just stay outside. He didn't say that. He actually went to this son, to Mad Bro, and said, son, I love you. Everything I have is yours. Won't you please come in? He was begging him to come in and be a part of the family and everything that was happening. So you guys, I just love this story because it talks about God as our Father and the kind of Father that He is and what He's willing to do for us to get our love. He will come to us when we're walking over the hill like Bad Bro was after he sinned. He'll come to us and run to us. When we're pouting and acting bad or angry, He'll go and He'll come and find us and try to talk to us. You guys, God is always looking for ways that He can come to you and talk with you and get to know you better, and so that you can know Him better, and so that you feel like you have this really close relationship with Him, so that He can show you that He loves you no matter what. And then all you need to do is just turn away from your bad behavior, turn away from your disobedience and your sin, and repent, and He just welcomes you back. You know the funny part of this story is the brother that ended up in the best spot was Bad Bro. He did all these horrible things, but because he was willing to ask forgiveness of the Father, he got everything. He got forgiveness and the robe and everything, and he actually received the Father's love. But Mad Bro, even though he was obedient and did all the right things, his attitude was wrong. And he didn't love the Father. And he didn't want the Father's love. And so he rejected the Father's love. And that's what the story's about. Don't be Mad Bro. That even though God loves you, you just say, I still want to do my own thing. Boy, that's the danger, you guys, is that we might just do our own thing. And when God comes to love us, we just go, no, I don't want to follow God. And the story, too, about Bad Bro is even though you do really bad things, you can always come back to God because He's so ready to forgive us, you guys. So when you don't forgive, you miss out. That's what Bad Bro had. He missed out on a big old party, on relationships with his family, with his brother, with his dad. And he was just an angry old man. But he thought, I'm right. You see, he was right. But he hated all the people that are around him. So let me ask you guys this. Would your parents rather you do everything right, like a robot that just follows all these commands? Or would they rather you love them even though you mess up sometimes? Which one? Robot? Or just love them back even though you mess up? I hope you guys, that's pretty easy for you. Put your fingers up. It's number 2. You guys, your parents don't want you to be a robot and just do everything they tell you to do. They want you to love them. They want you just to love them back. That's what's important to them. That you follow the rules not because you're afraid of them, but because you love them, okay? All right, so Mad Bro had it all wrong. Glad Dad just wanted these guys to love him first and then be obedient. Not to be scared of him or anything like that, but or to obey him like a robot, like Mad Bro was trying to do. So let's look at the very last little bit here. This is what the father said at the very end to Mad Bro. He said, "My son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." You guys, God's forgiveness for us is so great because he doesn't make us pay. He doesn't make us pay back good for the bad that we've done, and he doesn't pay us back bad for the bad that we've done. He just forgives, wipes it clean so that we can be close to him. And boy, that is awesome. That's good news, am I right? You guys, that's really good news. So we're going to finish with this. I'm going to show you the little forgiveness video song that we're going to be learning for VBS. So you guys try to learn it. And then after that, I'll say goodbye, and we will see you guys next week. Love ya.